Some voices don't just sing, they shift culture, they define an era, and they inspire generations of artists who come after them because when you talk about R&B, you can't skip over the name Brandy. Not just because of her hits, but because her voice became a blueprint. Her style became a moment, her legacy is still being felt today. Welcome back to the Live Life Right Network. Today we're diving into the story on one of the most talented and influential women in music history. This is Brandy. Before the awards, before the platinum albums, before the acting roles, Brandy Norwood was just a young girl with a gift. Born in Mississippi and raised in California, Brandy grew up in a musical family. She was surrounded by gospel, surrounded by church, surrounded by a world where singing wasn't just a talent, it was a calling. Even at a young age, it was clear her voice was different. She didn't sound like everyone else. Her tone was warm, smooth, and instantly recognizable. And before the world even knew it, Brandy was already preparing to become a star. In the early 1990s, Brandy was still a teenager when she began getting opportunities in the entertainment. She started with acting audition and early television appearances. But music was always waiting for her. When she signed her record deal, it was clear the industry saw something in her. And the timing couldn't be even better. Because the 90s was the golden era for R&B. And Brandy was about to become one of the biggest stars. In 1994, Brandy released her debut album, Brandy. And almost immediately, the world took notice. This wasn't a typical teenage pop voice. This was a real vocalist, a real R&B artist. The album delivered hits that defined the decade, including songs like I Wanna Be Down, Baby, and Broken Hearted. And with every release, Brandy's image grew. She was youthful, but classy, beautiful, but approachable. And most importantly, her voice felt effortless. The debut album wasn't just successful. It proved Brandy was here to stay. While her music career was growing, Brandy was also building something rare. A real acting career. And in 1996, she landed the role that changed everything, Moesha. She wasn't just playing a character. She was becoming a symbol for young Black girls watching at home. Moesha felt like a representation. It felt like a mirror. And Brandy became one of the most recognizable faces on television. At that time, it was almost unheard of for someone to be dominating both music and acting at once. But Brandy did it. She made it look easy. And then come a moment that will live forever in Black entertainment history. Brandy as Cinderella, a Black Cinderella on television with Whitney Houston. That moment wasn't just a movie, it was history. Brandy showed the world that Black girls could be a princess, not the side character, not just the best friend, but the lead. And to this day, people still talk about the movie Cinderella like it happened yesterday. That's how powerful it was. As Brandy grew older, her music matured too. And when her second album arrived, it confirmed something important. Brandy wasn't just popular. She was one of those strongest artists of her generation. Her album Never Say Never became one of her biggest moments. This era gave her major hits like The Boy Is Mine, Have You Ever, Angel in Disguise. This was Brandy at her peak. The sound was polished. The visuals was iconic. And the world was watching. And we have to talk about it. The Boy Is Mine. This wasn't just a song. It was a cultural takeover. Brandy and Monica turned that record into a moment so big that it still gets referenced decades later. It was drama. It was energy. It was attitude. And it was one of the biggest duets in music history. That song made Brandy even bigger and proved she could dominate the charts while still staying true to R&B. But beyond the hits, Brandy's true power was her voice. She didn't just sing lead. She stacked harmonies like an instrument. Her background vocals were always layered, always intentional, always smooth. Her tone was so soft but strong. She didn't oversing, she didn't need to. Her voice was very perfect. And because of that, she became the blueprint of modern R&B vocalist. Many singers today have admitted they studied Brandy because of her technique. Her control, her runs was on another level. They don't call her the vocal Bible for nothing. Then came an era that many fans consider Brandy most influential. albums. Full Moon. This album wasn't just music. It was futuristic, creative, experimental. It sounded like she was floating on clouds. Songs like Full Moon, What About Us, and When You Touch Me showed that Brandy wasn't afraid to grow. She wasn't stuck in the past. She was always evolving. This was Brandy stepping into her artistry fully. And to this day, many people call Full Moon a masterpiece. But while the world saw a star, Brandy was also dealing with something deeper. Pressure, expectations, the public eye, and the reality of growing up in entertainment. Brandy became a mother, and motherhood changed her. It grounded her. It made her more private. And it also reminded the world that behind the fame, she was still human, still learning, still navigating life. As the music industry began to shift in the 2000s, R&B also changed. New artists came in, new sounds took over, and Brandy's career faced moment of silence. Moments where she wasn't in the spotlight the way she deserved. But that never changed one fact. Her voice remained unmatched. Even when the industry wasn't celebrating her loud enough, musicians still respected her. Singers still studied her. And fans still hold on to her music like a soundtrack of their lives. And that's what makes Brandy so powerful. She didn't need the controversy. She definitely didn't need the attention. She didn't need noise. Her talent spoke for itself. Brandy was one of those artists who you could truly call a vocalist, an actress, a cultural icon, and a legacy artist. She paved the way for so many singers who came after her. And even today, her influence is in the sound of modern R&B. Whether people admit it or not, Brandy shaped R&B. She shaped music. She deserves her flowers. Not because of her hits, but because she gave us excellence. Black excellence at that. She gave us class, trendy. She gave us range. She gave us timeless music that still holds up. And she did it while carrying the pressure of fame. At a very young age. So when people ask who helped define R&B, the answer is clearly simple. The answer is Brandy. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what is your favorite Brandy song of all time, because her catalog is legendary. Thank you all for watching Live Life Right Network. Stay tuned, because the next story is already on the way. All right, guys. Until next time.